Right, let's get straight down to business. Today we're going to be talking about restaurants, the food and beverage industry. Why are we doing that? Because the umbrella body of restaurateurs, NRAI, is holding a boot camp to basically encourage order direct. What does order direct mean? It means move away from food aggregators like Zomato, Swiggy, etc., save on the commissions and focus on the bottom line, focus on becoming profitable. It's no secret that since the outbreak of the pandemic, it's been a really tough time for the restaurant industry, with losses being part of the menu. They have to pay rent, they have to pay other overheads, and on top of that, a commission in very often which is in the range of 20%. How will order direct work? That is something I'm going to be discussing with one of India's most celebrated restaurateurs, Riyaz Amlani, joining us right here on StartUpCentral. He's got several restaurant chains, for example, like Social, Anti-Social. We're also being joined by Anurag Gupta, the co-founder of DotPe. Why do we have Anurag? Well, he's part of the Bootcamp, which people like Riyaz, the leading restaurateurs, are holding to encourage the smaller ones to also promote order direct. Gentlemen, welcome to StartUpCentral. Riyaz, I'll come to you first. We all know it's been a really bad one, how COVID has been killing the restaurant industry. You've had lockdown after lockdown. In unlock phase, you weren't allowed alcohol, you weren't allowed to serve dinner, all of that. Now you have mini lockdowns across the country, mini containment zones across the country. Is it safe to say, once again, the restaurants are upset with the food aggregators, Zomato, Swiggy? Can it lead to a logout, like we saw earlier?
Hi, Nayantara. How are you? I hope you've been well. Thank you for having me on your show. Always great to be here. Look, we will continue having our love-hate relationship with the aggregator. The fact of the matter is, the aggregators are now integral to the F&B ecosystem, not just in India, but all across the globe. But what we are really trying to do is we are actually trying to develop one more avenue, one more channel, which is direct ordering, and we're calling it back to the future, because a long time, not a very long time ago, not just 5 years ago, for example, customers wanted to order something, they would order directly. So it's not a new concept, but we just want to remind people, and to all the new entrepreneurs who've entered the field in the last 5 years, we want to remind people that there was a thing called direct ordering, and we want to actually work on the technology to enable a very hassle-free and a seamless ordering experience from restaurants. Usually what happens is, if customers would not, like, they would have trouble between the telephone line and the customer, things would get lost in translation. The aggregators have come in and made that job seamless. They provided the tech. So restaurants are now working with tech stack providers such as DotPe that Anurag has built to provide customers a neutral but a seamless platform in which they can order directly from their restaurant. And this way, a restaurant gets to build a direct connection with its guests, because that's what hospitality is all about. It's all about a direct connection. And I think recently aggregators have started data masking, which means the restaurateur has no idea about who the food is going to. So we are trying to encourage and sensitize our customers to start ordering direct. And we're using tech stacks provided by people like Anurag to help us process those orders and also deliver a seamless and hassle-free experience for customers.
Anurag, welcome to StartUpCentral. So you're not going to do data masking, you're going to help consumers order directly from the restaurants. You're going to share that data with the restaurants so they know who they're delivering to, they know who their customers are. Are you just going to be a payment gateway, or the idea is to build some kind of a rival to Zomato, Swiggy, maybe not that large, but list restaurants so that consumers can use it? Can you tell me a little bit of what DotPe is going to be doing?
Yeah. So, Nayantara, thank you for inviting us in this debate. So I hope you're doing well. So see, the idea is like what Riyaz was saying, that delivery is something which is not a new business, right? It has been there since the time restaurants have been in inception. It is just the way consumer wants to eat in the restaurant. They want to kind of consume the same food within their home. Before all of this, kind of the consumer journey kind of went to a in the last decade, consumer has kind of traversed a journey of their own digital life, right? So you and me, who are like too much into a non-digital mode, are kind of spending entire day of our life digitally. So I think what has happened in last 10 years is that consumers have kind of gone digital. On the other hand, the businesses, which can be restaurants for that matter, and so they have kind of not been able to traverse that journey by themselves to kind of digitally enable and ensure that they are able to match up to the same consumer demands or the same consumer requirements of the way they want to kind of being treated when they are remote. So there is a gap in this, and what we are here to solve is that DotPe is not payments. DotPe is a digital stack. DotPe is basically an ecosystem which is helping restaurants to go digital. So today a restaurant core area to solve is not tech. Their core area to solve is food. Their core area is to solve is hospitality. Their core area is not tech, and our core area is tech. So I think we are just combining forces and ensuring what lags within a fraternity is something that we kind of come and add it up. And the overall ecosystem is helpful for the consumer. So as a consumer, they will have the same quality of tech. They will have the same quality of, I would say, the way they want to interact with their restaurant.
But Anurag,
level kind
but
of
Anurag, if I could just come in there, when you do all of this, and I get the convenience, a lot of those tuning in use DotPe, they use Razorpay. I'm asking a very different question. Are you going to provide discoverability as well? For example, I understand Google is also going to be a part of these boot camps, right? And Google is a pretty cool way to discover restaurants. So what I'm asking is that are you going to be one of those that will also provide discoverability to restaurants?
Yeah. So we, as DotPe, we will not be able to provide discoverability because we are not consumer-facing service. So as a consumer, you will never get to know that this transaction got originated via DotPe because we are a B2B stack. So as a consumer, you will not be originating a transaction via DotPe as an app. You will not have a DotPe app within your phone. But yes, there are large consumer ecosystem available where customer is spending life. There is a Google My Business, there is a Google Search, there is WhatsApp, there is Facebook, there is Instagram. These are the platforms where people are spending their lives. We are just connecting these platforms. All the restaurants, all the businesses have their own pages on these platforms, and the transaction can get originated from these platforms to a restaurant. So discovery is not solved by DotPe in the name of DotPe, but discovery is solved by DotPe by interfacing multiple consumer-facing assets for the restaurants, where restaurants is already digitally present.
Okay, Riyaz, if I can now come to you, question number one, since the pandemic last year, now that we're in 2021, when you're having mini lockdowns around, have food aggregators like Swiggy and Zomato not met you halfway at all or reduced their commissions? Do they stand at where they were pre-COVID levels, which is why this love-hate relationship is continuing, which is why you're once again looking at going back to the future with Order Direct?
Look, we're not here to vilify the aggregators. There's always going to be a tension between a service provider and a service consumer, especially in the B2B segment. And we have to keep reminding aggregators that we are their customers, and the people who order food are the restaurant's customers. So, and now that there are certain pressures where increased profitability needs to be shown, or a path to profitability needs to be shown, things are getting a little hairy and things are coming to a head. But we are really, as of now, we are really not advocating logging off those platforms. We will continue to operate on those platforms, but we will also open up and reopen, in a sense, the direct ordering platform, which we kind of forgot about because the customer was only going via aggregators. And aggregators made discovering restaurants easy, very true. But not every time we want to go and order from a restaurant, especially once we have, created a cohort of our favorite restaurants, we don't really need discovery. We just want to make sure that we get a great meal. And when we know we're going to get a great meal every time from a restaurant that we love, direct ordering becomes a much more viable option, because then they can order from us on WhatsApp, they can order from us via their phone. They don't need discovery anymore. And I think that that's where direct order really becomes really, really fruitful and actually even more practical. And restaurants can give the best price guarantee on their own direct ordering platforms, platforms such as Anurag, which runs DotPe, and Thrive, and a few other partners who are working with us to develop these tech stacks. We just want to make the experience even much better for the customer when they're ordering direct. Yes, there's an element of discovery not being there, but you don't want to keep rediscovering the restaurant that you love. And if you love a smokehouse deli, and sorry for the shameless plug, you will want to continue ordering from smokehouse deli. At that point of time, you don't need to go through that discovery process. You'll just want to go and place your order directly. So that's where we are being enabled by companies like Anurag, like such as DotPe. But discovery, yes, you're right. Discovery can also happen on Google. We are very happy for people to discover there are ratings on Google, there are reviews on Google, there's restaurant information on Google. So a customer can find out a lot about restaurants on Google. So they don't necessarily have to go, and they're already used to using Google as an app. They can find us out on Facebook, they can find us out on WhatsApp, they can find us on Instagram. So we will be present wherever the customers are, and the tech will help us enable that.
Absolutely. And I was seeing your Instagram video yesterday about the bootcamp that you're having, and you did talk about Google. With Google, you get discoverability. You've also got Google Pay and other options. Riyaz, I want to talk to you about a little something else. The whole idea is to become profitable. Like I said, the only thing on the menu of the restaurants really has been constantly the last 1.5 years has been losses, and losses that are mounting up. If you look at direct order, your costs will also have to go up because you will have to have your own delivery fleet, I would imagine. Are you saying that cost will still be less than the commission that is already paid? I was going through some of the data which has been shared by NRAI. You have an average order of 304 rupees pre-COVID. There was commission paid of nearly 5,500 crore rupees to the food aggregators by 1.32 lakh restaurants. Is it really as bad as it is always made out to be, that how the commissions are killing, how it comes at the cost of the restaurants?
So, Nantara, commissions are only one part of the spends that aggregators take from us, right? There's first of all, there's the discovery part. So you need to spend on these aggregator platforms just to get your name, pushed up on the search level. So suppose somebody is looking for Chinese, you need to be in those relevant. So you need to be spending money just to be discovered on those platforms. After that, there's the cost of delivery. And also now what is also happening is the discounting is also being given by the restaurants. And, it is in no uncertain terms, it's been told to us that you can only get orders if you provide discounts. So if you look at discounts, you look at discovery, and you look at delivery, restaurants are paying up to 40% of their top line. It's not 20%. It's 40%. They're paying up to 40% just to get a single order. And that does not make any sense. I mean, restaurants are struggling to scale through, even low single-digit profit numbers. And the lion's share is being taken up by these various services which are being offered by aggregators. So it is becoming very difficult. And I think that COVID has brought into sharp focus the need for restaurateurs to focus on the delivery aspect. A lot of dine-in restaurants where, delivery only comprised 5 or 6% of their entire business didn't really bring a sharp focus to the delivery, or they got lazy and they said, well, you know what, let Swiggy and Zomato handle it. We won't worry about it. But with the advent of this kind of tech stack and Google getting more involved, and also the rise of third-party last-mile on-demand service providers, we got Shadowfax, Dunzo, Delivery, so many companies now stepping up, that the delivery problem is also being solved. So it becomes much more economical for the restaurant to receive orders directly for the customer. And it's also economical for the customer because all the commissions and the delivery charges that we are passing on to third parties, we can then pass some of that on to a customer. So I think it's going to be a win-win situation both for the restaurant as well as the customer. And of course, there'll be a little piece of the pie for for the third-party supply chain managers as well as the tech stack provider. But after having paid all of that, still there will still be a little left for the restaurant to take.
So we could see dual pricing. Order direct could be cheaper for a consumer as opposed to going on the apps. Is that the future?
Yes, absolutely. I think that this will only succeed if restaurateurs can provide best price guarantees to customers on direct delivery platforms.
Okay. It's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure talking to you, Riyaz. Thank you so much for taking the time out for joining us here. That's a boot camp that is being organized by the leading restaurateurs under the NRAI to become more profitable. The idea being to promote direct ordering, one of them. They're tying up with players like DotPe and, of course, Google. Let's see how this one pans out. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a short commercial break. On the other side, we're going to feature COVID warriors. This time round, it is Tehseen Poonawala and his wife, who have been doing commendable work on social media, trying to match plasma with those that need it, just helping out with medical supplies and a lot more. Stay tuned for that.